I'm not calling her ugly because she's physically ugly. I'm sure that if she were a wonderful, spiritually beautiful person, I would look at her face and see something different. I look at her face and I want to puke. Sorry, I should weigh my words. I want to vomit. I want to retch. I look at this woman's face and I do see abject evil. And I don't use the word lightly. I see an arrogant, haughty, tyrannical, I was going to use a very bad word there. I won't do it. Person. When one has to weigh their words and then land on the word person, I snub my nose at thee. This is a woman who is compelling or promoting the jibby jab on babies 6 months and older. This is a woman who is a fascist tyrant who has no problem weaponizing the legal system against her political adversary. This is a woman who has no problem with the devastating consequences of being a sanctuary state that results in the rape, death, murder of her own citizens, but she feels so haughty and so high and mighty to defend. Plus, she looks like Hillary Clinton for some reason. Plus, she seems to be getting uglier the longer time goes on. And I think it's what happens when you have your soul sucked out of you. When you dance with the devil dances back. I don't even know if that's how it works, but you know what I'm talking about. When you stare into that abyss, the abyss stares back at you. And when you partake in evil, you end up getting consumed by evil. So they had this hearing today. Some of the highlights were simply glorious. Let's start with the funny ones. There was Tim No Balls Walls, or Tampon Tim, Pritzker, who's too easy to make fun of, and Kathy Hochul, who's devil incarnate. Start off with highlight number one. Nancy Mace asking Tampon Tim No Balls Walls to define what a woman is. And you'd think it was the first time someone ever asked this question. Holy crap, you go to a debate and you don't prepare for the most easy slam dunks you know someone's going to try to take on you. You're an idiot. Tampon Tim, every Democrat out there, you know that you're going to get asked the question, what is a woman? An adult female. I want to get more scientific. An adult female with XX chromosomes. Oh, but then what about the XXY intersex? Well, I'll set a little caveat for the exceptions, and I put it in quotes because they're not exceptions. They're just governed by another rule. What is a woman? An adult female XX chromosome. Thank you. They don't have to be able to have babies. They don't have to have boobs. You know, some of them can, I don't know, not necessarily even have a vagina. Maybe they have a micro penis. I'm not even saying this to be funny. Maybe externally what they have looks like a wee-wee. XX chromosomes, what is it? And something about gametes, about the eggs, the way the eggs are produced. That's the definition of a woman, is an adult female of that scientific subcategory. Tim Toe Balls Walls, Toe Balls. Tampon Tim No Balls Walls. It's like the first time he's ever thought of this question.
Team 90.
Okay. What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
Well, that.
What do you want me to say?
What do you want me turning the question on the questioner? How many seconds was that of pure silence because he's such an idiot?
Team 90.
Okay.
Okay.
What is a woman?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What is a woman is the question.
6, 7.
I'm not sure I understand the question here.
Well, that.
What do you want me to say?
I want you to say that a woman like me is an adult human female, that men can't become women. You guys are the party of violence, and you're the party erasing women.
I don't know, the party of science. What do you want me to say? I just asked you a question. The answer to the question is not, what do you want me to say? The question is, say what you believe. What is a woman? Well, if you identify as a woman. All right, well, what is the element of being a woman to which or with which you identify? Having a vagina. So identifying as having a vagina makes you,
You don't respect us. You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Congresswoman,
good lady,
Mr. Chairman.
I don't care what whatever gripes people have with Nancy Mace. I like her, and that's some awesome soundbite material right there.
Thanks, Mr. Ocasio-Cortez from New York.
All right, well, that was some kind of bingo going on over there. I don't know what's going on. Anyways.
I know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's some kind of bingo. just goes to show you how they think. Okay, so that's the fun stuff to start off the highlights with. We're not going to play the whole thing. However, there is a good 5-minute section. Where is it now? That dog. You guys hear the dog in the background? There was a 5 minutes of cripe. Let me see. I'll bring this one up. I think this is it. That's not it. Come on. Hold on a second, people. Now I've lost my other screen. Take this out. Where was there? Let me go grab it here. Escape, and we'll get it right here. Let me just go share my Twitter feed. I know I have it on my Twitter feed. The Kathy Hochul. This is going back here. Okay. It was this
on
part
your
right
first
here.
day in office, you
There we
signed
go.
Executive Order 1. Is that correct?
I believe it is.
And you extended this executive order not once.
I believe it is. Executive Order number 1. You don't remember what the first executive order is you signed when you came into office? That's Elise Stefanik on the left, people. Also someone who does great work.
Not twice, but 3 times. Most recently, January 16th of this year. Is that correct?
If that's what your facts show, I signed countless executive orders.
I would
and
assume you'd
policies
know
and
it's
laws.
executive.
Can you imagine? I do a lot of things. Yeah, that's right. Like, I got a lot of kids. All right. Do you know where they are right now? Well, I got a lot of them. I mean, it's just, it's not good to be feeling hatred, but I absolutely loathe Kathy Hochul. It's a fundamental, justified, righteous hatred.
Order 1. And this is a continuation of your predecessor's sanctuary state policies, correct? Is included in that.
I want to be sure we are defining sanctuary state properly.
I'll define it for you. It is the policy of the state that state officers or employees shall not disclose information to federal immigration authorities for the purpose of federal civil immigration enforcement. It goes on to say, law enforcement officers may not use resources, equipment, or personnel for the purpose of detecting and apprehending any individual suspected or wanted for violating a civil immigration office. Law enforcement officers.
It's a pretty decent definition of a sanctuary state. We won't actively oppose. You want to come into it. We're not going to help you. We're not going to give you information. We're not going to hold anybody. And if we find out they have an immigration, if we find out they're illegal, we're not going to hold them for you.
Have no authority in the state of New York to take any policy action solely because the person is an undocumented alien. That's a quote in your executive orders that you extended. Now, do you know who Sakir Akan is?
I want to get back to the first part.
No, I'm asking you a question. Do you know who
Well,
Sakir Akan is?
I want to make sure you understand that this simply says that we will cooperate with ICE.
No, it does not say.
Can you imagine the demonic level of balls it takes for her to listen to the definition? We will not cooperate. We will not facilitate. We will not give resources to. And then she comes back and says, oh, well, all that says is that we will cooperate. I mean, look at the ability to lie like that is demonic. But wait until you hear this. It will just make you want to cry.
Say that. I read what it says, and let me talk to you about the results. Do you know who Sakir Akan is? You should, as the governor of New York State. Do you know?
I got a lot of illegal aliens that kill people in my state. How am I supposed to remember all of their names?
Refresh my recollection.
He was an illegal migrant in New York. And do you know what crime he committed in addition to being here illegally?
No, I do not.
You do not.
She doesn't even know that after being told. Oh, gosh, hold on one second. Sorry. She doesn't even know that after having been told the guy's name. What did I just do here? Ah, crap. Bring it back up.
This was widely reported. He found a 15-year-old girl, threatened her with a metal pole, told her to get into the back seat of his car. He took her clothes off, and he violently raped her in Albany, New York. Do you know who...
That happens a lot. I can't be expected to remember each and every one of the names of illegal aliens that violently rapes one of my citizens. Come on. Stefanik, be reasonable.
Sebastian Zapita Khalil is.
I'm sure you'll tell me there's many cases, whether they're...
These are high-profile cases.
Can you believe that she didn't know who this one was offhand? Even I, as the Canadian schnook, who's mildly obsessed with exposing this, knew who that was offhand.
New Yorkers know about them, and you don't? So let's talk about Sebastian Zapita Khalil. Do you know who that is?
No.
I don't have the specific details at my disposal, no.
Well, this is an illegal migrant in New York because of your sanctuary state policies. Do you know what crime he committed?
I'm not familiar at this moment.
I bet you're going to be familiar when I remind you. He found a sleeping woman on the subway, lit her on fire, and burned her alive. This is in Kathy Hochul's New York. And as I'm sure you are aware, and I'll remind you, that ICE issued an order to detain this violent criminal, but that was rejected by New York officials due to sanctuary state laws. Now, do you know who Raymond Rojas Basilio is?
I just want to say this. These crimes are horrific.
Because of your...
I condemn rape. Hey, put it on, you know, we in our house, we have glasses that have words of wisdom that my father has spoken over the years. Like, you know, the ball doesn't lie. The government is your partner. You know, make them assume 50% of the losses. We have a whole bunch of glasses. They're whiskey glasses with words of wisdom. Kathy Hochul is going to say, I condemn rape. That's what makes her a good governor. I condemn these rapes. That's too much rape in New York State. I mean, sure, it's being done by people who we won't even facilitate the deportation of. I condemn it, however, after it happens. But it's not me because I got my security.
Because of
And I
your
would
sanctuary
say
state policies.
In all of these cases, we would work with ICE to remove
You did
them.
not in this case. They are
They need
walking
our
on the
assistance.
streets because of your policies and your
Look at
executive
her
order that
face,
you
by the way.
signed 3
Look at her
times.
face.
Now, Raymond Rojas Basilio, do you know who that is?
I'm telling you this. I will
You don't know
explain to
who
you
it
the
is.
policies of New York. We cooperate with, I know you're just
You do
trying
not.
to.
You do not. Specifically,
miss-
ICE was told not to detain this individual, and he burned a woman alive on the New
Look
York
at her
subways
face. Look at
in
Hochul.
Kathy Hochul's New York. So I will keep on going. What about Raymond Rojas Basilio? Do you know who that is?
I'm going to tell you our overall policy, which will address all this.
I'll tell
We
you
do
who
not-
that is. He is an illegal who molested an 11.
We'll stop there. Kathy Hochul is a demon. There's no Hochul is a demon along with the rest of the Democrats, says Omega Rasetsu. It's outrageous. They sit there and at the end she says, my heart breaks for all of the victims of the crimes that I could have done something to prevent, but alas, I can't because I want to bleed for the illegals. And won't someone think of our big corporations that need to exploit these illegal aliens? Oh, but the children of the illegals that we've allowed to come in, it's no longer the fault of the parents and it's no longer our fault. And now we must keep families together. Can't lock up people because when you lock up, you separate families. One last one, Pritzker. Pritzker's amazing. Is this the one here? Yeah, this is it. Listen to this one. Pritzker's such a badass.
Governor Pritzker, what do you tell a family when they ask you why? Why was this murderer in my state that came here across the border illegally and was encouraged to come to my state by your policies?
What do you say?
You said invited or encouraged. 50,000 people
invited
were
and encouraged by
50,000
sanctuary
people were
policy.
shipped to my state
Yes.
by a
Don't
border
beat
state
around the
governor.
bush. Own it, man.
I'm not beating
Own
around.
it.
I'm telling you, 50,000 people were shipped to my state by a
Would you ship
Republican
them back?
border state governor.
50,000 is
Pause it. Do you understand what Pritzker just said? This son of a bitch. 50,000 illegal aliens were shipped to my state by a Republican border governor. What he's basically saying, the haughty, arrogant pricks up north, that illegal aliens are for border states. You can't ship them up to us. Yeah, Biden gets to open up that border. Do not come. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Here you come, and here's a $2,000 gift card. The illegal aliens are for border states. Don't you dare ship them up to us because then we have to deal with the problem of our own immigration. I mean, the balls, the absolute balls. We didn't invite them. They were shipped up there. You keep the illegal aliens, you border Republican governors, because you're a border state and that's what you have to deal with. The consequences of our policy. Sanctuary cities saying, yeah, we're a sanctuary city, but don't ship them up to us. We just want to be sanctuary for like a few of them so we can say we're virtuous. And they're your problem. And if you send them to us, despite the fact that they're there because of federal Democrat Biden open border policy, then you're to blame for shipping them to us. It's so disgusting. But it's par for the course. So the hearing is good. The hearing exposed what's going on. The hearing exposed what we all already knew the problem was. It's one screen, two films. Someone's going to look at Pritzker and say, yep, he's right. Those little bastards, Arizona, Texas, you keep your illegal aliens. They're not our problem. You ship them to Martha's Vineyard. Ooh, we'll accuse you of human trafficking. Ship them to Springfield, Ohio, however, French-speaking ones who we can exploit for cheap labor. Well, that's the type of human trafficking that we are down with. And if you complain about it, in Springfield, You're the racist bigot.